Hello, YouTube. Back again for another week. I could have posted this earlier because I knew what my numbers were, but I wanted to make sure everything matched up on my settlement statement with what I had. And it looks like it did. Although there was a extra $10 in there, I'm assuming it was for taking the training class. One of the training classes for the tablet. Our Qualcomm's going to ELD mode. So that's worth $10 for you, right? Or was that something else? Do we get paid for those? I know company drivers do. What a waste of time. Doesn't really help me any, but whatever. It is what it is. So, numbers for this week. Looking good. Well, the revenue's lower than I liked, but it is what it is. So, best running week as far as rate per mile. So, anyway, let's get to it. Line haul. Revenue was $29.41.32, which is lower than my usual $39, $37 or whatever. But over the weekend, I wasn't able to find anything to tide me over. Everything was picking up Friday and dropping Monday, or Saturday and dropping Monday, and I didn't want to do a reset in Michigan or wherever else it was sitting at. So I wanted to keep rolling, which I guess I should have just went ahead and done a reset. I don't know if I would have made out as good, though, as far as rate per mile and possible revenue stream. It was taking me further north, and I wanted to stay in where I was generating the higher cent per mile, which worked out. So, I sat around a lot over the weekend. I staged myself and then dropped a load, and then picked up a load and staged myself again. And during the course of that, I could have done a reset. Almost, because I had taken 2 10s over a very short period of time, and then had another one basically involved in there. I was even able to make it to church. So imagine that. Usually I'm running so hard that I can't do that. But I may have found a little trick for me to be able to take partial Sunday off, because Sunday I didn't have to do nothing. But anyway, here I go, running my mouth again. $29.41.32. Fixed expenses were $11.54.05, which are going to go down a hair and up a hair because, well, let me finish this. Variable expenses were only $410.13. And like I said before, I don't have all my deductions in here. I know I'm missing some. So, I don't have fuel card fees, maintenance, repairs, anything like that. I'm getting her tuned up next week. I'm behind on that. Yeah, just beat me now because I should have done that earlier. But I'm going to schedule an appointment at, I don't know, Charlotte, Indy, somewhere at an OC to get this thing worked out. Truck fuel was only $392.93. If that tells you anything. I was kind of pleased with that. So total expenses per mile were actually $1.03. I usually average $1.08. But the reason for that is I only ran 1,514 miles last week. Week 41. So you got 29.41.32 on 1,514 miles. Comes to a whopping dollar. Where are you at now? $1.94 per mile. $1.94 per mile. I've been doing $1.55 or so this whole time, right? So, did I find my niche? It's only 1 week. So when you do that, it's only 1 week. Don't start jumping to conclusions yet, because there's always variables in there that you can't account for. But you got to look at $1.42, $1.54, $1.44, $1.46, $1.52, $1.56, average of about $1.55 or something like that. If I'm going to start hitting this, I may have found out what I'm doing wrong. So my average profit per mile was 91 cents a mile, and my average daily revenue was only 196.73, and it's usually 210, 220, 230. So the only time it's usually been lower than that is the weeks where I'm 5 days out, but then and go home for the weekend. Last one was 216 a day though for 5 days out, and 6 days out was 280, and I had at week 36 I had 185 though. So most of my 5 day outs are even more profit per day than this one was. So there are some losses and some gains there. The gain is naturally the revenue per mile. The loss is the revenue per day. So did I make as much as I wanted to? Let's just say last week was my daily revenue was $213.40 a day. This week, that was week 40. Week 41 was $196.73. But profit week 40 was $1493.83. Profit this week is $1377.814 for a loss of $117 in profit. I think I'll take the $1.94 and learn how to work that and then bring it up. Because if I can do 1,500, all I had to do was 2,000 miles, guys. And that would have really changed the ball game dramatically. Now, they say the rush is about to hit for Black Friday and Christmas. And after that, it's going to be dead until February, March. I don't know. We are in a freight recession. It is an election year, and there are numerous other factors. Big Rig Radio Network just did a 2-hour thing on that. I haven't watched. I got 10 minutes of it, and I have to make this video, and then I can finish watching that. But a lot of it covers this. He has been through 7 recessions and has survived every one of them. He's going through this one, and he's making more in the spot market than we are in the contract market. So if you know what you're doing, you can make money in this job. Contract or spot market. Contract has a lot of security. Contract is like taking the security that the government gives you while it takes your freedom. So naturally, I want to get out, but you know, it's going to take a little bit of time for me to establish the rest of my learning curve. Once I've got that down, and once I think I can make it, then I'll make a change. But hey, you know what? 40 to 50 cent increase per mile on revenue. So I changed my parameters on my search because I was doing that wrong. And I changed the way I ran just a little bit. And admittedly, I did like sitting around. As much as I don't like sitting around, and I prefer to just drive long distances, I didn't mind. There was a spot where I actually made it on a whiteboard, and I was like, you know what, forget it. So that's numbers for the week. So I had, shut her down. No, wait, I'll tell you one more thing. So this is only the second week of the month, right? And last week was, like I said, last week there was something rolling over for last week, right? So we'll look at that real quick, which my monthly numbers is just 2 weeks of the month right now because this is only the second week in the month. So, but it's not going to show me everything. I mean, well, I can't do that. Can I? If I change that back to 0. Sorry, guys. Hang on a second here. Okay, so this isn't going to be 100% accurate because my program that I use, I have all my numbers keyed in for the month on expenses except for gas. You know, the fixed numbers are pretty much the same. I did say it's going to go down and go up. I didn't call. I sent an email to the insurance lady on the truck. Value of the truck has gone down $5,000 or right around there. Something like that. So I sent an email to them about changing my You have to contact the right person, the ooinsurance@schneider.com or something like that, and request that they review your insurance. So it's gone down, and it has lowered my payment by $3,000 a year, I believe. Something like that. About $5.40 or something like that, and I put my wife on. So that added $9, or it will, starting next pay period. Because I didn't have it, no, period after that, because I made it effective starting next Tuesday. So if you want to add them and you know that they're not going to ride with you for a little while, stretch it out, the start date for, I don't know, a week or two, but make sure you start it on a Tuesday, because if you do it, like I'm here, it's Thursday, I got here yesterday, it's Friday now, and I went in and spoke with my BOA, and because it was Thursday, if I started it yesterday, then it went on week 42's settlement and come out of that. So I told her I put the date down for Tuesday in a week, which is 23rd or something like that, and put it down for that, and that way it'll start coming out the settlement after the next settlement, because I know she's not going to be with me this weekend or next week. I just don't know when she's going to come with me. Well, I mean, if she wants to come with me starting next Tuesday, she can, because I have all the paperwork for that, and I've got it covered for that. But I highly doubt she'll be there at all next week either. Probably won't be for 2 or 3 weeks. I could have stretched it out, but I wanted to make sure that it was there in case we decide to change our mind or anything like that. So the month, because there was a part in there that was showing that it was off, right? Last video I made, I was talking about, where are you? Because it was only $1.41 a mile, right? So the month is only 2 weeks, but it's showing $1.60 a mile as the total income per mile. But this, I can't go the rest of the way because it's got all my fixed expenses and everything in there, which are right now sitting at $1.07 per mile, and variables aren't even in there because the only thing in there is a cell phone and a few other things at 40 cents a mile. There's no gas, there's nothing else in there. So total expenses are only $1.48 a mile, and they usually are 80 to 90 cents a mile. High 80s, low 90s, very low 90s. So that you can tell it's not there. So, I mean, I've only gone 4,295 miles for the month with a $528 profit. But that's going to go and fluctuate. So, anyway, that's that. I didn't make any modifications. The whiteboard, I had 2 routes back to back. One was 300 and some change, and one was 500, and basically run the same day. They were both through toll routes, Illinois, Indiana. And I could take the side route and run without a toll, or take the toll route. Now, one of them, taking a side route with no toll, came out with more money because the miles were almost exactly the same, and I didn't have to pay a toll. The only thing you got to consider now, usually you got to fight more traffic if you're not going to take the toll route. So the way back, I had to go through a $12.50 toll twice. Well, I dropped. And then to get to my next pickup, I went through a $6, a $12.50 to get there. And then to come back, I had to do $12.50 and a $5 or something like that. So I would have hit the $12.50 twice. It would have been like $40 in tolls. But strangely enough, the revenue per mile on the $40 toll route, which was the $500 one, the revenue per mile would have been $1.74 a mile. And it was 25 miles longer shorter than the non-toll route. So it was $1.74 per mile revenue on when you went through the toll route, as opposed to $1.68 per mile if you didn't go through the toll route. Is it a better route? That's up to you, because the revenue itself was $15 or $25 more. I think it was $25 more. $15. It was $15 more in revenue going the non-toll route than going the toll route. So in that case, do you want to take because it was 311 miles non-toll and 285 toll. So do you want to take the non-toll and make more revenue, or do you want to take the toll and make more rate per mile? That depends on what you need per day for that truck, really. I mean, it's all personal preference and how much traffic you want to fight. Although, Illinois, my God, even the toll routes suck. I mean, that's the only part I hate about that. I mean, the revenue stream is good there as far as rate per mile, but just driving in the traffic alone, it doesn't matter which way you go, as far as I can tell, unless there's something I'm missing. I keep running into stuff. I mean, I like to do early in the mornings, but when I do the short runs, they're not early in the morning. They don't do early in the morning unless like I'll stage myself the day before and drive maybe 30 minutes in traffic to get to my destination or my pickup. But usually it's a short run, so I got that one taken care of, and then I go grab another one and fight traffic. So I don't know. It all depends. You can do it one way or you can do the other way. But I've been running short routes. I had like 8 trips or something like that, and that's how I got it up to $1.95. All short runs, pretty much, except for, well, this is next week, so I'm going home. But the short runs, like they said, that's where it's at. The long runs are fun, but they don't generate enough revenue unless you can find the ones in the area where you're at. I mean, there might be some, like going to Texas, going to Pennsylvania, going to Maine, or New York. There's a lot of good runs going there. And for the toll guys that get their tolls paid, more power to you. I'm not getting my tolls paid, so I'm not paying 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks and have it all come out in one check. I mean, that's the kicker right there. It's like I have to sit here and plan for having tolls taken out. But anyway, I'm going home. I had a run coming from, wow, that was fun. So I'll tell you this one. I picked a load, a good old light, airy, and a load with product in bags that has a lot of air in it. Somebody I used to work for. It was sitting on the board. I didn't know what it was. It was a relay, and because from where it was coming from, nobody was picking it. But it had like 18,000 pounds. And it was going to Charlotte. So I said, well, let me take that, because I can bounce from Charlotte to my house in Georgia, maybe. And I ended up with that and Charlotte going to Lake Park, because I can't find nothing else. The Lake Park one's going to be heavy, but it puts me closer than LaGrange or something to the Savannah area than anything else. So I'm going to have to head that way from there. Anyway, so I got this load. I didn't even realize it was a relay. I didn't look too deep into it. I looked at the rate. I looked at the weight. I can book it. And so I pick it, and it's a relay. Dropping off at Indy and going to Charlotte. Because Indy was an hour away from my last drop point. So I was like, okay, fine. You know what? I've already booked it, and it's less than 24 hours, and they don't usually like to do it if you're 24 hours out. And I'm not too fond of relays because of too many issues with them that I've heard about, although I haven't really had an issue until this one. So I get there, and I park in the front. I drop my empty off. I was going to park with it, but I don't see the guy coming in. So I went ahead and dropped it because I already had a trailer assigned to it and a unit assigned to it. When you get those relays, you can see if there's a power unit assigned to it. If there's not one assigned to it, then you need to start praying that it gets where it's got to go, because, and even then, I mean, I've had guys, when I was with the company, I had a guy that took an extra 3 hours to get to the relay point. I mean, he stopped at a pilot, and he must have been running his mouth or something. He was on his way home for home time, which is his park location was where I was picking a relay up, which is a load of crap. I mean, that guy took forever to get there. And these guys, when they get relays, they should count them as having to get there at a certain time or they get in trouble. And until they do that, relays aren't going to be fun. So finally, this truck pulls in. He stopped at a truck stop. So I was like, oh, well, maybe he's out of hours. It's all good. He'll be here in the morning. But I kept checking anyway. And the trailer was on the move. You can also do that. You can check, tap the little trailer location, and it'll show you where the trailer's located at. It was at a Flying J when I first hit it. An hour later, I hit it again, and it had started moving. But the tracking in it wasn't accurate. It would ping every once in a while instead of every, 10 or 15 minutes when they're supposed to ping. So it was on the move. So I was like, well, good, he's on the way here. Because he was only 30 minutes away. I'm like, you going to run out of time and then you going to park at a pilot in Cincinnati. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do that. I did the Loves the other day, and I wasn't too fond of the reviews or that. I had hid in my truck all night long. The Loves. Yeah. Didn't seem too bad, though, but I didn't get out to find out if there was any thugs running around or not. So he gets there and goes past me, so I fire it up and drive around and follow him, and he parks in the transient lot. So I pull back around and park in front of him. Well, I didn't park in front of him. I parked at a fuel island and walked over because he was right there in front. I said, hey, dude, what's going on? Did they tell you to drop that here? He said, no, I'm taking it all the way to Charlotte. I said, yeah, I don't know about that, man. That's supposed to be a relay. He said, no, it was a relay originally, and they changed it. He showed me the thing on his tablet where it had the point, like, if you go get a drug test or something, they'll have like the point of interest as being whatever OC it is. Okay, if you ever get one of those, that's probably what you're going to go do. You've won the drug test lottery, but because it'll have a little thing on there saying you need to go here and then go there. So if you ever get a relay point, that's probably what that is, if it's an OC. Anyway, so he had a relay point on there of the Indy, and then he had Charlotte, but it didn't look like the location. I didn't get a good look at it. He's like, sorry, and he runs inside. So I went in there and I called I called the BOA number. It was, 10, 15 minutes after 5. Nobody there, of course. What do I expect? Dude answered the phone. He was real cool. He wasn't the nightmare person that I've heard about. I don't remember her name, but she doesn't do anything, but I think she's a weekend person. This was Wednesday evening. And we spoke, and he's like, man, that ain't right, because I told him what went on. And we spoke a little bit more, and he put me on hold to talk to his boss. And he got back on the phone with me. He says, you need to go find that driver. That is your load. He said, everything on here says that he is stopping there to take tests. He's not there to run that load. So you need to find him and go get your load. I'm like, man, this ain't my job to chase people around. So I went inside and sat around. I don't know what he was doing, taking a shower. I don't know what he was doing, But I sat around for like 10 minutes waiting on this dude. He finally showed up and walking outside, and I ran up behind him. Well, I didn't run up. I don't run anymore. But I got behind him and I said, "Hey, man." He said, "Yes, it's a relay." Well, good. And we had a little chat. He's like, "You want me to just drop it here?" I was like, "Yeah, because I'm back right there and park for the night. As I'm here all night, I'm leaving in the morning." I left at 2 o'clock in the morning. That was a 10-hour run just to get to Charlotte, guys. 10 hours and 6 minutes. 10:34 if you count the run to the OC. But yeah, I got my relay. Relays are a pain. I don't think I have anything else though. So I'm gonna go get my load and head to Lake Park in about an hour. It's a 1 hour live load supposedly. Hopefully it won't take that long. Get there early to check in. Oh, and the Charlotte coffee, the machine. Yeah, you better, I don't know if it works, but hit buttons before you put your money in. Because I was trying to get some coffee and apparently they drank it all. I don't know. Tried to get the espresso. That didn't work. It was of course, it's Maxwell House brand. I don't drink that swill anymore anyway. So I had to get hot chocolate with vanilla in it. But, it is what it is. Anyway, you guys keep the left door closed and keep the hammer down.